Imagine standing in a crowded airport, holding a folded flag and wearing a uniform that's seen too many battles, but this time, the war isn't overseas. It's right here, in front of the boarding gate. That's exactly where James Walker, a single dad and retired Army sergeant, found himself one cold autumn morning. He wasn't traveling for vacation. He wasn't visiting family. He was escorting the remains of his fallen brother in arms, a young soldier who never made it home. What happened next would shake the hearts of everyone at the terminal, and remind the world what honor truly means. Before we start, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because what you're about to hear deserves to be shared with everyone who still believes in respect, sacrifice, and love for our heroes. James stood at gate 32, his hand gripping a small wooden box. Inside it rested the dog tags of Private Daniel Reeves, a 22-year-old soldier killed in action. Daniel's mother had personally requested James to accompany her son's body from the military base in North Carolina to their hometown in Wyoming. For James, it wasn't just a duty, it was a promise. He had trained Daniel, watched him grow from a nervous recruit into a brave young man. Now, he was bringing him home. But as James tried to check in, the airline agent frowned. "Sir, I'm sorry, but we can't allow military escorts in uniform to board early without approval. You'll have to wait with everyone else." James nodded respectfully. "Ma'am, I understand, but this isn't a regular flight. I'm accompanying a fallen soldier. His remains are in the cargo hold. It's standard protocol that the escort boards first." The agent looked irritated. "Rules are rules, sir. You'll have to wait." A few passengers behind James rolled their eyes, whispering, probably trying to get special treatment. James heard it, but said nothing. He wasn't there to argue. He was there to honor Daniel. But when the boarding started and he once again stepped forward, the same agent blocked him with her arm. "Sir, please step aside. You're holding up the line." Something inside James clenched. The uniform on his shoulders suddenly felt heavier. He could have shown his credentials, called his contact at the base, but instead, he took a deep breath and stepped back. He wasn't the kind of man to make a scene. He looked down at his old combat boots, the same ones he wore when he came home from Afghanistan, and waited silently. A few minutes later, a flight attendant who had overheard the conversation approached him quietly. "Excuse me, sir, did you say you're escorting a fallen soldier?" James nodded. "Yes, ma'am. Private Daniel Reeves. He was only 22. The attendant's eyes filled with tears. Without a word, she turned and whispered something to the captain who had just stepped off the jet bridge. Moments later, the captain himself walked over. "Sergeant Walker." James straightened. "Yes, sir." The captain saluted. "It would be our honor to have you board first. I'll make sure everyone on this plane knows who you're flying with." The airline agent's face went pale. She stammered, I didn't know." But James didn't respond. He simply nodded and boarded the plane, his steps heavy but proud. When the passengers took their seats, the captain made an announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, before we take off, I want you to know that on board today, we have Sergeant James Walker, a retired veteran, escorting the remains of Private Daniel Reeves, who gave his life for our country. I'd ask everyone to remain seated and silent as we honor this soldier." The entire cabin fell quiet. Not a sound, not a whisper. People put down their phones, children stopped fidgeting, and a few even stood to salute. Tears shimmered in the eyes of strangers who suddenly realized they were sharing a flight with something sacred. When they landed, the captain once again asked everyone to remain seated as the escort departed first. James walked down the aisle slowly, carrying the folded flag close to his heart. At the gate, a military honor guard waited, along with Daniel's mother. The moment she saw James, she broke down in tears. He handed her the flag and whispered, "Ma'am, your son served with honor. He's home now." That was when something unexpected happened. The same airline agent who had stopped James earlier approached, her eyes red from crying. She couldn't meet his gaze. "Sergeant, I'm so sorry for what I said earlier. I didn't understand." James looked at her with calm eyes. "It's okay. Most people don't understand, until they see the price of freedom up close." The woman covered her mouth, tears running down her cheeks. "Thank you for your service," she whispered. James just gave a faint smile, then turned back toward the casket draped in red, white, and blue. The honor guard lifted it gently. The sound of boots clicking together echoed through the terminal. Even the bustling airport had gone still. People stopped in their tracks. Some placed their hands over their hearts. Others silently saluted. As the casket was carried away, James followed behind, not as a hero, but as a brother keeping his promise. That night, sitting alone in his truck, he looked at an old photo of his daughter, the reason he had left the battlefield years ago. He whispered, "I just hope one day, people remember what it cost for her to grow up free." The story spread like wildfire. A passenger had filmed the moment everyone in the terminal stood still to honor the fallen soldier. The video went viral, but James didn't care about fame or attention. He only cared that, for once, people saw the truth, that honor still exists, even in a world that often forgets. At the end of the video, as the music fades and the screen darkens, the words appear, "Respect the fallen. Honor the living. Never forget their sacrifice." If this story touched your heart, take a moment, like the video, subscribe for more real-life stories of courage and faith, and share it with someone who needs to be reminded. Heroes walk among us every day, even when they don't wear their medals anymore.